Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Coyne, founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, CrossFit HSN, and HSN Mentoring, where we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated. Some of my first clients at Healthy Steps Nutrition were kids and teens, parents who were frustrated because eating turned into a fight every time they tried to get their kids to eat something healthy, or parents of athletes who are really looking to skyrocket their teens' performance through nutrition. Today, I'm interviewing Ashley Osterman. She's a nutrition coach here at our HQ location, as well as a member of our mentoring team. She has worked with many kids over the years and has completely revamped our kids' nutrition training course for nutrition coaches running our program. Today, we talk about 5 strategies for healthy kids. We discuss what's worked well with our families and clients, as well as best practices for nutrition coaches when working with kids. Enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. Today, we have Ashley Osterman, who is a member of the HSN staff with us. Ashley, welcome.
Thank you. It was great to be here. So happy.
Well, first, congrats on the move. You just moved to Florida, so now you are actually working at our HQ location now, not from California. So I'm so happy to have you on board here.
We are so excited. Happy to be here in this wonderful weather.
Right? Well, for those of the listeners who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about your background in nutrition.
Okay, so I have my degree in clinical nutrition from UC Davis, and I have been working in the nutrition field for about 12 years now. I have a lot of experience working with pediatric nutrition and kids nutrition. I did about 8 years working with kids in the hospital setting, and then for the last 6 years, I worked with the Department of Education, so really implementing strategies for kids to be healthy with their school lunches and with their nutrition education.
Awesome. So clearly you have a ton of experience with nutrition and kids. And one of the big things that you did when you came on board last year was helped us revamp our entire kids nutrition course for HSN Mentoring.
That's right.
Man, it looks so good now and everyone loves it. But today, the biggest thing I wanted to talk about was 5 tips for healthy families. It's the new year. Everyone's looking to eat healthy. And childhood obesity has become a big issue in the U.S.
It really has. Do you know that 1 in every 3 children are considered obese or overweight in North America?
That is crazy.
I know. And research shows that an obese 2-year-old has a 75% chance of being obese by the age of 35.
Wow.
And if you're obese at the age of 19, you have an 88% chance of being obese by the age of 35. So this is definitely an epidemic.
The problem is most parents think, most people reward their kids with food, or they show giving junk food as a way of love, right?
That is so true.
And, that's one thing that I've worked with families and parents, over the years is like, let's switch to non-food rewards. Like, let's focus on food as a form of fuel instead of a reward for love or something great that they did. Right?
Absolutely. We definitely need to shift that mindset. You see it all the time, especially with grandparents. They have the kids for the weekend and it's like treat after treat after treat. So we really need to make sure that, these adults and caregivers in the children's lives are really practicing what they preach and really setting that standard and being the role model.
Absolutely. So today we want to talk about 5 tips for healthy families.
Yes, absolutely. And just exactly to segue into tip 1 is, being that role model and practicing what you preach, right? So if your children are seeing you go through a drive-through and eating unhealthy food, they're going to want to do that same thing. They see you drinking soft drinks and they see you eating sugary processed foods and snacks and you're keeping them in the house. They're more apt to go ahead and do that same thing. And then if you tell them no, they're just going to be really upset with you and not understand why, right? You're the role model. They're listening. These little kids and these teens are watching really everything you do. So if we're talking about dieting and we're talking about restricting food, they're also going to be thinking of food in that exact same way. So really setting that standard that food is a fuel and what we're eating is really fueling our bodies for us to do our best, perform our best, whatever they're doing at school or their extracurricular activities. It's really going to be that fuel to make them do that they can and do their best at their sport or their education or their extracurricular activities. So really
100%.
shifting that mindset, right?
100%. I think, we work with a ton of adults, and I would say at Healthy Steps Nutrition HQ, our client base is 50% adults, 50% kids. But even when we work with adults, we talk about families eating and making sure that everyone's on the same page at home, because if you're having to cook a different meal for you and your kids, it's going to be much tougher to stay on track for the long haul, right?
Absolutely.
And the trickle down effect, right? If parents start eating healthier and incorporating vegetables, and you're doing that with your kids, then they're going to start eating healthier.
That is so true. And I talk to this a lot with our parents that I work with the kids. Sometimes we're working with a teen or a child, and we start getting them healthy habits, and the parents have to be invested at home. And then next thing I know, the parents are reporting that mom and dad have lost weight and they're feeling better and they're off this medication,
Absolutely.
And I really think one of the greatest tools that we have here at HSN to help really show that this is a family affair and we're all invested and involved is the HSN dinner menu planner for families.
Absolutely. We use that at our family.
Oh, it's amazing. It gets everyone the buy-in. You can kind of go through and plan out your week. The kids and everybody in the family can choose like what proteins they like, which starches they want to incorporate, which vegetables they want to try, and then what we're going to cook those veggies in. Maybe it's some olive oil, or maybe we're going to have some avocado on top of our bowls tonight. So it's just really great, and it helps, again, reiterate that message that food is fuel, and we really need to think about and have a healthy relationship with what we're eating.
100%. And if everyone's involved and you're the leader of your tribe as a parent, then the trickle down effect, right? Everyone's on the same page, and it's much easier to stay on track because everyone's doing the same thing.
And it becomes normal. It just becomes normality in your household.
Absolutely. Let's talk about tip number 2.
Absolutely. So tip number 2, this is one of my favorite things. Make Friday a try day, or really any day, whatever day works best for you and your family. Make a day in your house a try day. And what I mean by try day is let's try some new foods, whether it's a new vegetable, a new recipe, or a new way of cooking something that you've tried before. Did you know that it takes 12 to 15 times of trying something to know if you really liked it or not?
Trying new foods is such a big thing, right? And so many kids just look at a food, they're like, I don't like that. But if they tried it, they might actually like it, right? And cooking things different ways is a huge thing. I know for us, roasting vegetables or doing stuff in our air fryers, definitely the most popular way. The kids love it over like steamed broccoli that's kind of mushy.
I don't like steamed broccoli.
I don't
no,
either.
Thank you. No, the air fryer is definitely a game changer. And another really important thing to think about when you're letting your kids try something new, don't overwhelm them with a big portion of it, right? Let's give them a couple little bites first to see if they like it. Sometimes if we're piling something new onto the plate, it can become intimidating.
Absolutely. One of the things that's worked well with our kids is when they were younger, now they pretty much eat mostly everything. But when they were younger, I would always give them a new food at the beginning when they were the most hungry. I'm not going to give them something new to try at the end or on the plate with everything else, because they're going to eat the foods that they're comfortable with and the foods that they like first.
Yes.
So we would always give them the vegetables or, the new food first, let them try it. Again, like you said, not with an overwhelming amount. And then if they wanted more, awesome. And then we would add the other things to the plate.
Yeah, that's absolutely such a great tip. And that kind of segues into my tip 3, getting the kids involved in the kitchen, right? So we want to make sure that we're getting them invested and involved and educating them about what we're doing and how we're cooking these meals. So when you have a kid in the kitchen and they're maybe helping you cook that new food, they might be more excited to try it because they had a hand in preparing it.
Absolutely.
I love to encourage kids to help out in the kitchen. When they're exposed to food preparation and cooking, it really sparks a curiosity and it creates this beautiful relationship with food and nutrition. Some ways to help inspire them to help you in the kitchen with preparation or cooking may be to have them measure out ingredients, when it's age appropriate. It definitely helps with math skills.
Absolutely.
And also maybe ask them how much they would measure out if we doubled the recipe or we cut the recipe in half. Another good way is, when age appropriate, have them assist with the cooking. They can assemble, stir, season, create, like make a dressing or design a pretty garnish. Also have them taste it. Let them say if it needs more of something or less of something, and maybe help you plate that dinner as well.
Our kids are always in the kitchen with us. They're actually making a cookbook right now that'll be released in the summer.
Oh, cannot wait for that.
I know, they're so excited. But they want to come. Whenever we're in the kitchen, they ask to come help, which is awesome. And they'll make things. I mean, they will do their own breakfast. Sometimes breakfast sandwiches they'll make, and it's great because we started that at a young age, right? Measuring out foods, and us being involved in the kitchen sparked an interest for them to be involved in the kitchen.
Yes, another absolutely great example of leading the pack, showing them how to do it, and they leading by example. They want to do what you do. They really do.
Absolutely. It kind of goes into the try day. We'll let the kids pick a recipe off of our website or go through cookbooks and like try something new that they want to try, right? Like, so they'll be involved with what recipes that we're making. They go to the farmer's market with us and they pick different vegetables that they want to try. We tried white asparagus the other day.
Oh,
It's like a chip. Tastes delicious.
I didn't even know that existed. How
Me neither.
cool. Yeah, and that also brings me to like some ways they can help outside of the kitchen too, right? Because, sometimes it's not age appropriate for the kids to be in the kitchen quite yet, or maybe schedule confliction there. But also outside of the kitchen, using that HSN family meal dinner planner, they can suggest a meal idea. You can take them grocery shopping with you, teach them how you're grocery shopping for your meals for the week, or grow a garden, and also get them involved with your local farmers. I love taking the kids over to the farm and they can see the chickens and the eggs and learn that the milk comes from the cows, Again, just really sparking this relationship between food and nutrition and really fostering it to be a healthy one.
I think, you know what, that's the biggest thing, right? Like fostering a healthy relationship
Yes.
with food and kids.
And I want to make a quick note that some of our favorite kid-approved HSN recipes include the egg muffins.
Oh, yes.
Such a hit. The chocolate chip protein cookies.
Oh, the kids love those.
Even my favorite. And they also really love the meatloaf muffins. They work really great leftover for lunch boxes as well.
Absolutely. Yes, that's a good one.
All right, so let's talk about tip 4. I love this tip, and I honestly do it to my kitchen at least once or twice a year. I call it the pantry clean out.
Yes. So I've worked with kids in the past that have had like every flavor of Pop-Tarts in the pantry.
Mm-hmm.
And they say whole grains on them. So the parents think that they're healthy. I mean, the way things are written on food labels is so confusing for most families that aren't super educated in nutrition.
Absolutely.
You have all this whole grain label or 100% whole wheat, but then you turn the back and it's the first ingredient or second ingredient is sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it might have whole grains in it, but it also has a ton of sugar.
Or it says less sugar. But what does less sugar even mean? It means less sugar than their previous formulation. Doesn't mean low sugar. Doesn't mean healthy, right? But these, labels, especially for kids, they're really targeting, can be very deceptive. So we need to get into that pantry and that refrigerator and kind of clean it out. Empower yourself. Learn how to read a nutrition label. Read the backs of things. Especially look out for those things that are marketed as healthy, like juice and those convenience breakfasts, right?
Oh my gosh, the convenience breakfast options and cereals.
Cereals.
We just did a nutrition seminar at Twisters Gymnastics, a big gymnastics facility locally, and one of the girls brought up cereals and what's a healthy cereal. And we started talking about, looking at the food labels and how many teaspoons is, how many grams is in one teaspoon in your cereal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But really, I don't know about you, when I used to eat cereal as a kid, I would just pour it into the bowl, and we had big bowls. So I know I was eating more than one serving.
I never measured out cereal.
So, if it said 8 grams in one serving, I probably had 2. I'm having 16 grams of sugar in just the cereal. It's 4 teaspoons.
That's a lot of sugar. Or, on a Saturday morning, you're watching your morning TV and, there's still milk left. Better pour some more cereal in that bowl.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm meeting over my daily requirement by 9 o'clock,
Yeah. The problem is you look at the front of the label and it says made with whole grains.
Mm-hmm.
So people are confused. Looking at food labels, what are some things that you look for when you talk to parents about food labels? What are some things that you look for?
So I really like to tell them to look at the ingredients, right? If sugar is one of the first few ingredients, put it back. Because, ingredients are listed by how much of an item is in that food. So if sugar is going to be your number 1, 2, or 3, that is an absolute no-go. Let's put that back. Then I'm also looking for any trans fats. A lot of these convenience foods are going to have trans fats. And trans fats, along with sugar, are going to cause inflammation, are going to cause a lot of undesirable reactions in the body. So we're looking at that as well, too.
100%. We talk about low sugar, but, really why do we want something that's a little bit more balanced? Most cereals are pretty high in carbohydrates, pretty low in protein. Fat, there's not too much fat in most. It's just a lot of carbs. It's going to give them an energy spike and then energy crash.
Yeah.
And when you look at what's the implications of that when they're in school, they're not able to concentrate as great. They're getting tired, right?
Sometimes they have behavioral issues as well when the sugar crashes.
Absolutely. So could you have a little bit more balanced meal? And if you're going to have some cereal, have a hard-boiled egg with it. So you're getting some protein to balance it out a little bit, right?
Yeah, and when parents ask me what's a good cereal, I tend to often, opt for oatmeal, honestly, with my kiddos.
Yep.
You can make it real quick, balanced breakfast with some oatmeal. You have your carbohydrates with your oatmeal. You're going to add a little bit of fat and a little bit of protein. So what does that look like? Maybe some peanut butter on top of your oatmeal. Maybe we're having a little bit of coconut oil and some protein powder. Or maybe we're having, a hard-boiled egg on the side.
For sure. One of the kids' favorite recipes is the Amish oatmeal.
Oh, that's a good one. And that is very similar to a cereal, right?
Super similar. It's a soft granola, essentially, that we just heat up in the microwave, but we make it on the weekends. And they can put nuts and their favorite fruit in there. But it has over a cup of egg whites in there. So there's a ton of protein. It's a little bit more balanced than your regular oatmeal, but it tastes delicious and they love it.
Yeah, that's a great option.
At the end of the day, you need to make sure that it's going to be something sustainable and your kids like it, right? And the earlier you start trying new foods, the easier it is for your kids to eat healthy.
Yes, absolutely. And let's talk then about tip 5.
Yeah.
So my last tip, let's talk about for healthy families is, we want to make sure that we're eating healthy from all of the food groups and that we're balancing our meals, right? Making sure that we're incorporating all of those macronutrients into every single one of the meals that we're consuming. So, making half of the plate fruits and vegetables. This is a really big one for the kiddos, really trying to get them to make sure they're eating enough of those macro and micronutrients that are in the fruits and vegetables. We're looking at vitamin C, dietary fiber, potassium, and vitamin A. And these are things that kids often do not eat enough of. And we much rather have them getting those vitamins and minerals from whole foods versus having to take a supplement.
Absolutely.
And then also looking at our protein on our plate, right? Making sure that we're cooking and consuming lean sources of protein because proteins function as the building blocks for our bones, muscles, cartilage, skin, and blood, and that's so important for a growing child. Many proteins also contain vitamins B and zinc as well, so that's really important. Also, we look at moving to a low-fat or a fat-free dairy for our kids. Looking at, the dairies that we're consuming, they have a lot of important nutrients, calcium, potassium, vitamin D, and protein, but also making sure that we're not having excess fats in those dairy items.
We definitely want some fat, and if your kid, like one of our kids, is underweight, so we give her whole milk, whole fat, just so that she's getting a little bit extra calories. You want some fat. And if you're looking at having fat in your meat and then fat in the dairy and then having excess fat, it can just end up being too many calories.
Yeah.
Having some fat in some dairy is totally okay.
Absolutely.
But we want to be mindful of how much fat is it someone getting? Are they getting a balance of protein, carbs, and fat for the day?
Yeah. So one of my recommendations, if you have a kiddo that's drinking milk 3-4 times a day, we might want to look at doing a lower fat or fat-free because that's a lot of consumption of dairy.
Yeah, exactly. And, water's a great thing. Like our kids have milk once a day, twice if they want it, but usually once a day. They're drinking water throughout the day. And that's pretty much all they drink.
Yeah.
Jason my husband took the kids out to eat and ended up running into some kids from the kids' school. And they ended up all sitting together with some moms and some kids. And one of the kids poured juice all over our son's head.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. What? And then they were running around like crazy. But why was that happening? Your kids are drinking so much sugar in the juice. And we've worked with a ton of gymnasts in the past where parents are thinking, hey, I'm going to pack these juice boxes instead of fruit. It's easier to pack them, then the fruit doesn't get bruised up. And, it's fruit, right? It's made from fruit. It's juice, 100% fruit, it says on the label. But there ends up being a lot of sugar in there.
Yeah, and you don't have the fiber that comes along with the fruit.
Exactly. So, thinking of whole foods and having a balance and making sure that you're always getting some protein in. Because if you're just eating carbs, you're not going to stay full for very long.
No, you're not.
And truthfully, most of the convenience items that are geared towards kids and snacks lunches, breakfast, everything is really carbohydrate based. I mean,
It really is.
so much carbs. You really have to think when you're making a lunch for your child, what sources of protein, what healthy fat is in there, what is it really going to look like?
Yeah, and that brings me to the whole grains portion, right? So we want to make sure that when we are, choosing the carbohydrates, and if we're choosing grains, we want to get the whole grains. We want to look at whole grains because they're important sources of nutrients like dietary fiber, minerals like magnesium, which are used in building bones and releasing the energy from the muscles. So Nicole, exactly what you were saying, we want to make sure the meals that we're packing our kids for lunch or breakfast are balanced, but also those snacks as well too. If they're staying after school for an extracurricular activity or a sport, we want to make sure we're also giving them a nice balanced snack to have as well, not just something loaded with carbohydrates.
Absolutely. What would you say would be a good balanced lunch for a child?
One of my favorite things to do is do like a turkey and hummus roll up. I think those are so great for a source of some protein. Kids love them. They're finger food, really easy to do. Then I would probably add some fresh fruits and veggies in there as well. One of the favorite things that our kids like to do is some cut up cucumbers and cut up peppers. Those are a hit. For whatever reason, the kids love those.
Absolutely. Cut up different colored peppers. So then they're eating the rainbow, right? They're eating different colors, which means different vitamins and minerals. Yeah. So fruit, veggies.
And then a nice source of fat. So, avocado is a great one. Some guacamole. They have those great little packs of guacamole that go perfectly into a lunchbox if your kids will eat some guac. Also, maybe like a little cheese, if something like that is an option for you for a little bit of fat in there as well. For a snack too, my kids love the peanut butter. A little bit of peanut butter, almond butter. You can put some crackers, whole grain crackers in there, or you can have some fruits in there. Apple, celery. Have you had the ants on a log before?
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes. You can do a lot of fun things, and I think just the options are limitless if you keep these tips in mind when you're, balancing a family meal, a child's lunch, or a snack. Just making sure that we're choosing these whole foods instead of food products, and we're making sure that they're getting a balance and eating the rainbow and drinking their water and really fostering that healthy relationship with nutrition and food.
I think that's the biggest thing, right? Because if parents are always talking about dieting and restricting and you can't have this, you can't have that, instead of, okay, what healthy things can we have? Can we include in our daily routine? And getting kids involved with those conversations. Our kids know what sugar does in the body, and we joke we'll go out to eat and they'll look at a dessert option and we'll say, all right, let's look how much sugar is in here. And it'll be like 200 grams. And they understand what that means. They understand.
Yeah, they're telling you how many teaspoons.
Yeah, they are. It's a little math game. So parents that are listening to this, nutrition coaches that, maybe have kids of their own, like, where do you start when trying to get your kids to eat healthy? Like, what is the first thing that you should do?
I think the first thing you should do is start with yourself.
100%.
Right? Practice what you preach. See yourself as the role model. Start making healthy changes and healthy habits within yourself, and those are going to trickle down into your family.
Yes.
Then I think once you start to make those healthy changes, you're going to see your kids are going to pick up on it. They're going to get involved. They're going to want to be involved, and they're going to then establish those as foundations in their life to have a healthy, long, sustainable relationship with food and a great, great understanding of nutrition.
Absolutely. One of the things when I'm working with kids and, if the end goal is we want them, they want to lose weight or they need to lose weight, they don't want to, but they've come from a pediatric gastroenterologist or some other referral source, I always talk about how is eating healthy going to help what they care about. So if it's an athlete, all right, it's going to have you have more energy during practice. If it's someone who's super interested in school, then all right, it's going to help you do better in academics. You'll be able to concentrate better. You're going to have more energy. So you have to spin it to what they care about.
You have to make that connection.
Absolutely. Because they don't care about eating healthy. Like they're thinking, no, my Pop-Tarts taste better than this oatmeal and I want the Pop-Tarts.
Right. Absolutely. So you have to have them make that connection and also get them invested, get them involved, right? I feel like with kids, they're so creative and they really like to, kind of make something their own. So when you get them involved and they're kind of taking ownership on this journey with you, you're going to see it's going to just keep them excited and keep them bought in and remind them of why we're doing this too, right?
Absolutely.
Remind them of, oh, you're going to do so much better in soccer. You're going to be able to run that mile in a minute less, or you're going to do so great in school that next year you're going to, be on track for honors.
Yeah, exactly. One of the tricks that we always do when we go to the gymnastics facility is we always have them try something different every single time. Because kind of the peer pressure of like everyone else trying it gets other kids to try it. And
Yeah.
our kids' friends will come over to our house for Halloween or anytime, and we'll always have vegetables, and they'll end up trying foods here that they would never try at home because everyone else is trying it, right? So kind of think about that, like, all right, could they be around other friends and try different foods? Or maybe you have a friend of your kids that eats really healthy and have them come over, and then your kid might, want to try too, just to keep up with their friend.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we've worked with a ton of families. If someone locally in South Florida is interested in getting help with themselves or with their kids, you can visit healthystepsnutrition.com and book an appointment right through there. If someone is actively running the HSN mentoring program and is like, man, all of this sounds so awesome, I want to work with kids. What are the steps to working with kids through our mentoring program?
So your first step would be to sign up for the HSN Kids course. The Kids course, as Nicole mentioned, was completely revamped last year. We are confident it's going to supply you with so many tools, so many strategies and resources and information that you could expand your nutrition coaching to kids and teens. Once you complete the HSN Kids course, you will be taking a quiz and then booking a wrap-up call with someone on our team. That way we can ensure you're ready to launch your course and be successful in your new offering.
Awesome. If you think about, you have tons of families, parents of your facility, right? For gyms listening to this, who have kids.
Yeah.
Who could use healthy eating for the whole family, and maybe their kid needs some help with nutrition. This could be a great way to add an additional revenue stream for your facility and truly help families become the healthiest versions of themselves. And again, going back to helping people achieve optimal health and taking control of their health is, making it easy, right? And if it's easy, then people will stick with it long term. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
That is, it shouldn't be complicated. It should be clear and concise and simple to stick to, as long as you offer that accountability and that support.
And if the entire family is on board, it is much easier to stick with it.
Absolutely. You have an accountability group then.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Ashley, thank you for coming on board. I know these 5 tips are definitely going to help families that are looking to eat healthier and nutrition coaches when starting to work with families. So thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Have a great day.
You too.